So I have a word, and I don't know why every time I speak my last word, I be thinking like, God, ain't nothing else to talk about. Like, I'm not gonna get no more words from God. And then the next day, here a word go. Like, how did you even think of that, God? Like, he's so clever. But so the way that God gives me words sometimes is He will wake me up either in the middle of the night, or He'll wake me up super early. And the way that I wake up is with the song playing in my ear constantly, like on replay, certain parts. And the song that was playing, it was three songs actually, but he only told me to speak on one song. It was a song "Pray" by Corinne Hawthorne, I think that's her name. And the two parts that was playing, it was the one part, it was, so in the morning I pray, when I feel like I ain't gonna make it, that's when I pray. Is that part. And then it was, all things work together for the good. It was those two parts. Okay, so that spoke to your situation, not sure. But he had me wake up to that song. And before I woke up, I actually had a dream. And in the dream, I had a whole bunch of dreams actually. I had a bunch of lucid dreams. I had to get myself out of them because some of them were spiritual warfare. But the last dream that I had, I was at church, and there was a male pastor, and I remember him telling us like, turn the page to Deuteronomy. And he came up to me, he was like, I had this book in a dream, like mind you, same book, everything. He was like, what book is this? And I was like, it's the King James Version. He was like, oh, okay. And he was like, I want everybody to turn to Deuteronomy. Mind you, in real life, I do not know where Deuteronomy is in the Bible. Like, I can confess and say that I don't know by heart what books are in order. So in the dream, I turned it and I remember it looked just like my Bible. Like, I turned it, in the first index, I didn't know where Deuteronomy is, so I had to look in the index, and it was the first couple of books of the Bible. So when I woke up, I was like, I wonder if my real Bible is the same placement of where it was in the dream. And I opened up the Bible, and it was literally the fifth book in the Bible, like literally just like the dream. That's how I knew it was a word from God. But so when I woke up, I started reading Deuteronomy, and he gave me a word. And I'm gonna just read what I put down. I'm gonna read from my laptop because obviously the notes are on my phone, but it's connected. So I'm gonna just read off my laptop. But I'm gonna just read it, and I think that's gonna be the word. I don't think I'm gonna speak much on it. I'm gonna just read exactly what I wrote because I feel like I wrote everything I need to say. But he had me go to Deuteronomy 1 verse 42, and this is NLT version. And it says, but the Lord told me to tell you, do not attack, for I am not with you. If you go ahead on your own, you will be crushed by your enemies. And then he had me look up, I had to look this one up on Google specifically. He had me look up Psalm 27 verse 14. This is King James Version. And it says, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord, right? And what I wrote on that was, our strength comes from the Lord. This is what he gave me. Our strength comes from the Lord. If he says wait on it, it is because there has not been enough preparation for that war. Do not take it on by yourself, or you will be defeated, right? And then he gave me an analogy to use. And the analogy is, just because army men receive a uniform doesn't mean they are ready for battle. They must be not only trained how to win against their enemies, but also trained how to not die. And again, I'm going to say the analogy over, but I'm going to put God in the sense. And it says, just because that promise has your name on it doesn't mean you're ready to receive it. The Lord must first train you how to not only obtain the promise, but to keep it, right? And God just reminded me that when you try to do things on your own, and you don't wait for the Lord, you're now trying to pursue it yourself out of your own strength, out of your own knowing, which is dangerous because we do not know everything. So when God isn't talking to you, and when you think that he abandoned you, or he left you, neglected you, he's not giving you an answer, so you take it upon yourself to go and do that thing, it's dangerous. Why? And he gave me the verse and reminded me of how Jesus was on the cross. And on the cross, he said, Father, why have you forsaken me? Because he felt like God abandoned him, right? It wasn't that the Father abandoned him. He felt that because his human flesh feels feelings, right? He was a human. So he felt like the Father abandoned him, right? That didn't mean that what he was supposed to do wasn't what he was supposed to do. And sometimes God does not answer us, right? He tells us to wait. And sometimes we think that because he didn't answer us, that means no. That means that he's telling us that we could do whatever the case may be. He's not giving us an answer, so it means no answer. No, when he doesn't give you an answer, it means not right now, right? Whether that means it's not ready right now, whether that means he cannot do it right now, whether that means he's working right now. Simplified, it means not right now. So if God is not answering you right now, or it feels like he's distant, understand he's still working. He is telling you not right now. So what I wrote was the danger in trying to, let me read what I wrote. You can try to get that thing by yourself and train yourself. By all means, you can try to train yourself for this thing, right? But trust that you will only receive a counterfeit of that thing. A lot of times we all do this, to where we're waiting so long on God that we think that he's abandoned us, he forgot about us. So we're like, you know what, I got this myself, right? And we try to take it on. God said we're going to have a certain business. So we try to take on this business. We try to go in a certain direction. God didn't give us the business idea. He just said, you're going to be in a business. So we're like, all right, let me just search for what business is going to be. Then we go in the direction of what we think. And it's not the business that God designed for us to be in. So now all this crumbles. All of this messes with us mentally, spiritually, because it's not what we're supposed to do. Especially when it comes to marriage. A lot of people are, going through times where they're asking God for marriage and kids. If you do not wait on the Lord to give you your person, to unite you guys, you're going to start looking for the characteristics that God told you. God might have revealed to you the characteristics of that person, but not revealed to you the person. So because you're waiting so long and you think that God abandoned you, you might try looking. Oh, sorry. But I ain't sorry, actually. But you start waiting so long that you forget that God told you that he would never forsake you or leave you. He's not leaving you just because he's not answering. So because you feel abandoned, you might try looking for those characteristics elsewhere, right? And you might come into a counterfeit person that is not your person, that aligns on paper of what God said they would be like, but spiritually you're not connected to that person. And you have to learn to be patient. And in the waiting period, it's not just about waiting, it's about waiting patiently. And God is literally saying, like, the waiting isn't that he can't come right now, or that, like, you know what I'm saying, he doesn't have the power to. Is that he is training, for one, he's training your faith, right? To wait on him and say, okay, I trust God that God's going to do this thing. And for two, you literally cannot do this thing without him. So if he's working right now, you literally cannot get this thing without him. That husband, that dream wife, the one that God is destined you to be with, you cannot get them without God. So you can, by all means, try to train yourself, but you're going to get a counterfeit of that promise. So again, I don't know who needs to hear that. I think that's all I got. But I don't know who needs to hear that. But yeah, the last thing I wrote, if God is not answering you, that is an answer. It means not right now. So take that back to God, pray on that word, and have a good day.